that is the story time on how I found out my friend, my nigga on his back, y'all. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It is your girl Sabri, and today we have a story time. So I'm gonna stop acting shy. So quick disclaimer, I am not trying to be messy. I'm telling you my story from my point of view. So let's get into it. That's how I learned from this story is trust your discernment. You do not always need a reason. A feeling is enough. So when I was younger, I didn't bounce around schools at all. So I went to this one school, and I went there for middle school and elementary. I've known this girl since elementary. In elementary, we weren't really close. Like, we knew of each other. We knew each other's names. I'm gonna call her Apple. So me and Apple, we knew each other. We were like very acquainted with each other, but we never were just like tight. So going into middle school, it was the same exact way. So we just gonna go ahead and get into high school. In high school, we didn't go to the same school, but we all had each other on social media. So you know how that goes. Like, you interact with your social media people. If they're supporting events, anything like that, y'all are interlocked. So we pretty much just talking. She invites me to her birthday party. It was her 16th. And at the time, we weren't super close, but I'm like, why not go? So she invited me or whatever. And at the time, I had a long-term boyfriend, okay? We're going to call this boyfriend Jack. So Jack and I, we were together since, I believe, sophomore year. It was like one of those things where we got together and we stayed together the entire length of high school. So that was my like high school boyfriend. People knew because at the time I posted him. You will never catch me posting a man to this day. You will never catch me posting a man. But back then, baby, I posted my man. Down. So I go ahead, I'm post him, stuff like that, so she knows of him. Also, a very important character, her cousin. I went to school with her cousin, okay? Keep this in mind. We're gonna call the cousin Pear, just because it's easy. Pear is going to appear in another story time, guys, okay? So keep this in mind. Her cousin Pear, right? She goes to our school. I found out in the middle of like us talking that Pear and Jack used to talk. I personally didn't care because Pear wasn't like my friend. Like, we hung around each other because we had mutuals, but we were not friends. So I didn't really care too much. Also, another important note is when I posted my boyfriend on social media, I posted his tag too. Yes, I was slow. Ladies, do not do this. Do not post your man. Do not post his tag, because girls will literally just want him because he's yours. And that's not even specifically talking about her. That's just females in general. They will want what's yours. So this happens, right? We go all throughout high school. This is still my high school sweetheart. We broke up about a little after we got out of high school, and I had a lot of reasons to break up with this man. Like, I can do story times on him. I had a lot of reasons to break up with him, but my final straw was just like, it just wasn't what I wanted anymore. It didn't feel aligned. It wasn't anything he did in the moment, but you know when like you get over somebody in a relationship, everything they do just irritates you. Like, that man irritated my soul. And I'm like, yeah, baby, it's time for you to go. So we did a clean cut break or whatever. Just fast forward. Apple invites me to her birthday. We're about 18, 19. I'm definitely not 18. I'm like 19, 20 years old, right? So she invites me. We have a great time. And we get closer because a situation happens that night, and I talked to her about it, and then ever since it was just like we were locked in. That situation, if y'all want a story time on that, I will give it to y'all because that shit is funny as fuck, and it has to do with another man. But so boom, we at her birthday party. I had so much fun, y'all. Like, we had shots on shots on shots. We went drunk bowling. We had a freaking ball, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love her so much. Like, ugh. And at the time, I was very closed off. Like, I didn't have a lot of friends either, close friends at all. Like, I had an in and out boyfriend at the time, and then I had my best friend. So, like, I didn't have a lot of people around me. I'm like, okay, cool, girl, we locked in. And she didn't stay too far from me at all. So Okay, boom. After this, we are hanging out together. We are literally two peas in a pod. Me and Apple, we're like this. So after that, we on trips, all type of stuff. Fast forward to I moved to Atlanta. And it's so funny because when I was moving out here, Apple was gonna bring me down here. She was gonna come with me, help me set up my apartment, stay for a couple of days, and then go back. But something in my spirit was like, no, this is something I really just need to do by myself. Like, I don't feel like anybody should enter this space. I feel like it's a space for me. It's a space for me to pray over. And after that, I will start my new life. But just, it should be me. So she didn't end up coming. I ended up telling her like, yeah, no, this is something I feel like I'm just supposed to do by myself. So we're not gonna do that. So, okay, cool. So ever since I moved to Atlanta, we've been still locked in. Like, we still talk, but we didn't talk as often. Like, y'all, we was talking almost every day, basically, before I left. So we started talking more sparingly or whatever. And, you know, I'm still posting on social media. So I'm posting on social media, and an old friend from high school reaches out. And she's like, I really apologize. We're going to name her Angie. We're gonna name her Angie. So Angie reaches out to me on social media. Mind you, me and this girl have been beefed out high school, the second half of high school, and we just haven't talked since. So, but we see each other on social media, and it just be that, like, we never really interacted too much. But she reaches out to me because she followed me a while back, and I follow her back. I'm like, I wonder why she followed me, but we'll see. We'll see. So I'm like, okay, I'll play into this game. Angie follows me. So I'm on my social media, and she's just pretty much like, hey, I wanted to reach out, and I just wanted to ask you, like, what really happened with us, and, like, basically asking what happened with our friendship, and just wanted to reach out and be like, hey, I know time has passed, but I still think about it. And I was like, hey, girl, like, I really respect you for reaching out. And, like, I had told her in that, though, I was like, I respect you for reaching out because I never have reached out. And she was like, why not? And I'm like, because I had just heard some things that you were saying about me after the situation had passed. Because mind you, I said we were beefing the second half high school all the way up until like 22 years old. So that's like 16 to 22. That's a good minute. And in between that, when I was like 19, 18, I was hearing her talk. The stuff she was saying was getting back to me, okay? It was getting back to me. So I'm like, yeah, I just heard like you were still on that. And I just felt like it was childish because the situation had passed. Like, I don't talk about you. I make my money. I do what I need to do, and I keep it pushing. And she was like, who told you that? And she thought it was a specific person that told me that we both had mutuals with. I was like, I did not want to tell her who told me because Apple is the one that told me, okay? When we started getting close, Apple was like, girl, she was talking junk about me. I'm not going to go too into detail because y'all might be able to find her. No one need that. But pretty much, we were in the same profession. And she was like, yeah, she copied off of me trying to be in my profession. I'm like, girl, there's a million people who do the same stuff. Like, I was literally just trying everything that I could in the moment and figuring out what sticked for me. And that profession just happened to stick for me because the money was just flowing. So I'm like, okay, cool. So we sit here and she's like, yeah, so who told you that? And I'm like, I didn't want to tell her, but something in my spirit was just like, tell her. But I was still wrestling with it because I'm like, I don't want to be messy. Like, this could create a whole nother situation. But something was just like, tell her. So I'm like, Apple told me. She was like, Apple told you? She said, y'all, this is where the can of worms get open. This girl, she said, well, I hope she told you something else because I know something and I wanted to tell you, but it wasn't my place because we wasn't cool. So I just left it alone. I'm like, Apple ain't told me nothing. Like, I don't know what you're referring to. Why did this girl say, when you and him was together, probably like junior, senior year, she pulled up on him and did the nasty with him? I said, mind you, we're talking about Jack. We're talking about Jack here. I said, what do you mean? When was this? So we start sending like voice notes back and forth, and she's pretty much just telling me like, yeah, Pear, which is Apple's cousin. She was like, yeah, one day Pear had told me, like, why did Apple just go and mess with Jack? And she was like, what you mean? Like, she messed with Jack? Pear's like, yeah. She told me she went. They was texting on Snapchat, I guess. She pulled up on him. She did the nasty with Jack. And then she left. And she was like, I thought she told you because, like, y'all had got close or whatever. And I'm like, she didn't tell me a thing. So, boom. I get on my phone. I text Apple. I said, Apple, did you Jack? She said, huh? What are you talking about? But mind you, it's taking her a long time to respond. So I'm like she at work, but that girl be responding. So she was like, where did you get that from? I told Apple, I'm like, Angie literally reached out to me and she told me that when we were in high school, you Jack. And she was like, no, I don't even know what she's talking about. Like, what? He added me on Snapchat, did I? I'm like, okay, so guess what I do? I told y'all, Jack has not left me alone. So guess what I do? I go to Facebook. I unblock this man. I text him. I sent him a picture of her. I said, did you F her? I didn't know if he knew her name, any of that. So I just sent a picture and said, did you F her? And he said, bro, what are you talking about? I said, that nigga did it. He did it. So I called my mama, because my mama, I get some advice from her. Okay, I called my mom. I said, yeah, so this is what happened. I broke down the situation. I'm like, Apple, Jack, Angie told me, and I gotta get to the bottom of this. And she was like, okay, so what did everybody say? So I'm running down everything. She like, maybe he just didn't do it. I said, mama, this nigga did it. Look at his response. That nigga said, bro, huh? What are you talking about? It was a yes or no question, nigga. You f***ed up. So I'm sitting here, I'm like, I'm finna get the truth out of them because I'm boiling, but I'm like, I need to get to the bottom of this and see what is really going on, because also me and Angie have not been cool for a really long time. So I need to know, are you trying to mess with my friendship, or is this really some shit I need to check? So I'm texting him. He like, no, bro, I didn't do it. I'm like, bro, just be real with me. Did you fuck her? He said, I couldn't. I said, bro, be for real. Tell me. He said, no, literally, I couldn't. I couldn't get hard. Do I look like Boo Boo the motherfucker? You just fucked up. I'm like, bro, you literally just told me exactly what I need to know. So I goes back to Apple. I said, he just told me y'all tried to, but couldn't get nothing popping. So what's the real truth? She like, oh, he's just probably saying that to cover his butt. Like, he used to flirt with me, but I wouldn't take it serious. That's your boyfriend. I'm like, so you didn't think to tell me the nigga that I was in love with at the time was sitting here in your inbox flirting with you? Oh, so y'all just telling me everything. Y'all think I'm slow. So I said, you know what? It don't even matter what happened. I can't respect nothing that you did. I still have love for you. But at the end of the day, I can't do this friendship no more. I'm washing my hands with it. I literally told her, I was like, that was some snake. Like, I do not respect that shit. So, boom, I goes back to the nigga. I'm like, bro, you literally sound dumb. You sound so dumb. And he's like, y'all, why do this man try and bring some stuff out my past that I told him? So basically, a short little minute after me and him had broke up, I had gotten a relationship with a dude that I used to go to high school with. So it was very short, but I'm not gonna lie, I had fun. I don't regret it. But he basically tried to throw in my face like, oh, but you sat here and went with him after and I ain't say nothing. I said, nigga, did I f best friend? Did I f best friend? Or did I go have a relationship with a nigga and have a better time with him than I did with you? What are we talking about? So he sat there and I eventually blocked him. He started calling me, texting me off of different numbers. I said, bro, Respectfully, I don't want nothing to do with you. I don't want nothing to do with your character. This is exactly why I left you, even though I didn't know why I left you. But now I'm finding out why I left you. On the surface, he wasn't the most terrible guy. Even though I just told y'all the whole story time of him fucking my best friend. Yeah, I'm delusional. Anyways, it wasn't the worst thing to me in the moment. I just simply didn't like it and I cut it off. I felt like I was at a new chapter. It didn't align, so I left it alone. And if I had not did that, imagine I would still be with a nigga that my best friend and I don't know. To this day, me and Apple are not friends. Jack is still blocked, and that is the story time on how I found out my friend, my nigga on his back, y'all, on his back. If you like this story, like, comment, and subscribe, because I don't know if I'm gonna do story time more often, but I personally like to watch them a lot. So I was like, let's do it. Like, this story time has been on my mind for a minute. Let's do it while I got all the details in my head. And let me know, have you ever had a friend fuck your nigga? Or am I the only one? I low-key hope I'm the only one. I don't want y'all to be getting treated like that, but I'll talk to y'all in the next one. Bye.